Cutting across to the Indira Gandhi airport, where just a short while back, Separatist leader Shabir Shah has been detained after landing at the IGI airport in New Delhi right ahead of a slated meeting with Pakistan NSA Sartaj Aziz, of course, subject to whether or not the talks will go ahead. The centre is likely to send him back to Srinagar to prevent the meeting of separatists with Pakistan's NSA. Shah had come to Delhi to meet Pakistan NSA Sartaj Aziz, who has invited all separatist leaders for a meeting ahead of the NSA level talks with his counterpart Ajit Doval. Saeed Ali Shah Gilani, Mirwaiz Omar Farooq and other separatists plan to leave for the national capital on Sunday, but now it all seems it would be in vain. I would like to cut across to my colleague Anandya, who's joining us right now in front of the Indira Gandhi airport. All right, before we cut across to Anandya for the latest update, I believe our producers are telling us there's political reactions coming in.
As far as Farooq Abdullah is concerned, they were never relevant. It is whoever made them relevant, you should find out from them. I never made them relevant.
Well, Farooq Abdullah stating that the separatist elements in the valley have been at the fringe of irrelevance, at least when their government was in power, and it is this government who is trying to validate their cause by giving them the time of day. I want to cut across to Anand. He's joining us outside the T3 airport the terminal at the Indira Gandhi airport. I'd also want to go across to Shujaul Haq, who has with him Mr. Gilani, who was of course scheduled to come to Delhi as well. Before I cut across to Shuja, Anand, what's the latest update?
Oh, well, Preeti, the latest, the breaking news that is coming in at this point of time is that Shabir Shah, after landing at the after Indira Gandhi airport, he has been detained by the Delhi police. We had a word with Shabir Shah just after landing. He was flying in 6E451. That was the flight now. 651. That was the flight number he was flying in, and he said that that he has been escorted to a car, and he was within the periphery of the airport. But Delhi police sources tell us that he has been detained and he will be sent back to the next available flight to Srinagar.
All right. So, Anandya, in effect, Shabir Shah will be dispatched back to Srinagar on the next flight.
Absolutely, that's what we are hearing from Delhi police sources, because Delhi police saying that late yesterday night there has been a detailed discussion, between the Chief Commissioner of Police PS Bassi, also the concerned DCP, and after that the DCP of the airport range has been spearheading the entire operation, and he was also looking after each and every minute details. And let me tell you also, apart from CISF, there is a large contingent of Delhi police present inside who are monitoring each and every move of Shabir Shah from the moment the flight 651 landed in the runway. So he was being escorted, and if things go, and if there's no change of stance as far as the government is concerned, which is
Anandya, do stay on with us, because what has happened right now is that the government has made its stand very clear. In effect, also diffusing the crisis between the state government and the centre, where the state did not want detention, at least in Srinagar, of the separatist leaders. Well, they have decided to play the card where they're not being allowed to step out of the airport in the national capital. I want to, cut across to Shabir Shah moments before he boarded that flight. Let's cut across for that reaction, and then we're going to go to Shujaul Haq, who's joining us from Srinagar.
कश्मीर को एड्रेस किया जाए, कोर इशू है, और गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया कहते हैं टॉक ऑन टेरर हम करेंगे, लेकिन कश्मीर पे अगर बात नहीं होगी तो बात कैसे बढ़ेगी, आगे पीस प्रोसेस कैसे आगे चलेगा?
Are you hopeful that the talks will happen? क्योंकि कल से there have been a lot of viewpoints on whether talks will happen or not.
देखिए, बदकिस्मती है, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया बैकआउट कर रही है, कंफ्यूजन है, डोमेस्टिक पॉलिटिक्स बीच में आ रही हैं.
We have a desire and we have been working hard. As far as we are concerned, we want that dialogue must take place. As our Chief Minister is also on record to have said that we wish that it must start this time. Now the people who have been invited by Pakistan, they are going to Delhi and meeting Pakistan people or whatever, has been discussed very thoroughly. And in fact, we were not averse to talks at this, even about their inclusion. But if government of Pakistan and India have decided to go ahead, we are happy in that.
I want to cut across to Shujaul Haq, who's joining us from Srinagar at this point of time. And Shuja, one thing has been made quite clear, what the government stand is right now. Separatist leaders not welcome in the national capital. You would be detained, you'd be dispatched right back to Srinagar.
Well, that's right. That seems to be the clear-cut policy that at least the centre has in its mind. Because remember, the state was completely differing on this point of view. They not only, let them out of their houses, removing their house arrests, but also let them go to the airport from Srinagar and board the flight and take it. Basically, the point that is being made here is that the state government, which is led by the PDP, doesn't want to take the blame of stopping separatist leaders in Kashmir and then possibly upsetting its core constituency back home. So that's the result. As a result of that, perhaps that's the understanding that has been made between the centre and the state. That state would allow them to go wherever they want to, but as soon as they land in Delhi, they'll be detained and sent back to the valley. So that's exactly what has happened at this point of time with Shabir Shah. But having said that, it'll be very interesting to see how this particular development is seen in Pakistan. I was speaking to some of my sources in the Hurriyat camp, and they were saying that this could perhaps be the trigger for Pakistan to call off the talks.
Right.
Remember, as of now, we've only been seeing the game of who blinks first. Perhaps this is the last nail in the coffin, and perhaps this becomes the reason for Pakistan to come out clearly and say that they don't want these talks to happen anymore. So all these are possibilities with this development of Shabir Shah being detained and possibly sent back to Srinagar. We'll only be waiting and watching for that announcement, which is likely to happen.
How has it been taken by other separatist leaders who are also going to make a beeline for the national capital? I believe you did speak to Mr. Mirwais.
Well, yes. In fact, I'm right now, standing, at Mirwais Umar Farooq's house, and in a moment from now, we will be joined by him as well. But as far as other separatist leaders are concerned, they've also, been very, skeptical about the entire process. They've also been waiting and watching, and this particular incident it seems to be the test case for them as well. If Shabir Shah is detained at the airport and sent back, this would perhaps be the fate with anyone else who goes from the state. So it'll be very interesting to see from their point of view now as well, that they would still want to make that move if at all the dilemma still continues with these talks.
When you did speak to Mirwais Umar Farooq, Shuja, what is it that he said? Because now that trip to Delhi is nothing but symbolism.
Well, absolutely, and that's what I was pointing at. For most of the people in the Hurriyat camp and the Separatist camp, this seems to be an upsetting factor. They've been saying that they wanted to be a part of these talks. Nevertheless, they've become a reason, in a sense, for the cancellation of, if at all there is a cancellation or dilemma over these talks. So that is something that is in their minds as well. Some of the Separatist leaders have been saying that we're only waiting and watching for what the reaction from the Pakistan would be on this, and Shabir Shah seems to be the first test case here. If the detention of Shabir Shah today is not taken well by Pakistan and they announce a cancellation or calling off the talks, then obviously it will be clear for everyone else. But if that doesn't happen, if both countries still continue with the dilemma and keep the entire process in a sense in that suspicious mode, well, then it will be very interesting to see whether the separatist leaders will still want to go tomorrow, take a flight from Srinagar and perhaps land in Delhi and only to be detained and sent back.
All right. Shuja, we're going to keep trying and getting back to you. I believe Shuja in a short while back will have with him Mirwais Umar Farooq. We're going to get the very latest coming in. What we can confirm to our viewers is that Mr. Shah, who is right now been detained at the Delhi airport, will be dispatched by the next flight back to Srinagar. That is Mr. Shabir Shah. But the latest also that is coming in right now, and the news that we are effectively breaking, is that as we speak, BJP leaders are in touch with Hurriyat leaders to get them to voluntarily recuse themselves from the Pakistan High Commission's reception. Sources have confirmed that lines of communication have been established with Hurriyat leaders to impress upon them to voluntarily back off. Hurriyat sources confirmed to India today that contact has been established with them. However, they say there is no change in their plan to travel to Delhi. Senior government sources say they will not let Hurriyat leaders meet Pakistan NSA before the Indo-Pak talks. That is, if they take place at all. I want to cut across to our managing editor, Rahul Kaval, on the phone line with us. Rahul, has contact been established with other Hurriyat leaders, telling them to recuse themselves?
Between last evening and now, senior BJP leaders have told us that multiple lines of communication through government and party routes have been opened with Hurriyat leaders. The attempt is to try and get the Hurriyat leaders to make a statement that given that they want India and Pakistan to have better relations, they themselves are backing out. They'll say that while they believe that Hurriyat is an important part of resolving the Kashmir problem, but for the moment, they're going to back off. That's the attempt, at least, which some senior BJP leaders are making with the Hurriyat leadership. I spoke to two Hurriyat leaders who confirmed that contact had been established, but they're very firm, Preeti, that they intend to go, that they believe that this is just an attempt by the Indian government to put pressure on them to back off. They're saying that they're not willing to accept this. They in fact confirmed that Pakistan High Commission sources were in touch with them about whether their invitation cards had been received, and they said that we have absolutely no plan of changing our program and that we will be going. However, the Shabir Shah case that you were talking about is a test case of sorts. In some senses, an attempt being made by India to show to Islamabad as well that if a Hurriyat leader comes, he will be sent back. Each side putting pressure on the other to be the first to cancel.
And that's what all eyes will be on, Rahul, won't it? Because in the next half an hour, we would be there would be a press conference addressed by Mr. Sartaj Aziz as well, and a lot would depend on what just happened at the Indira Gandhi airport with Shabir Shah.
You know, there are not just two capitals involved in this. There isn't just Delhi and Islamabad. The gorilla in the negotiation room is the United States. And both sides are playing this in a manner that they want to show Washington that we were not the ones who cancelled. We were the ones who wanted to continue the dialogue. It's the other side that made conditions untenable for discussion. That's the attempt. So the Indian government at the highest level is telling us that we will not call off these talks. We want Sartaj Aziz to come. We will give him the Naved dossier, the Dawood dossier. Let them come with whatever evidence they have, the so-called Ajit Doval dossier in Pakistan has been talking about. This we will counter that. We want Sartaj Aziz to come.